Hey everyone, my name is Dave and I own Saluda Grade Farm, and I just wanted to give you guys an update on my hydroponic tomato greenhouse. This thing is just cranking it out this year. I don't have as many plants planted as I originally wanted to, but it turns out I don't really need them because this new variety that I'm growing has just been wonderful. This one behind me is Trust. As you can see, I've got some tomatoes that are ripe and ready to pick, or at least ripening right now at the moment. So they're just growing out these huge tomatoes, and they're all, I mean, there's a blemish there, but they're all pretty much perfectly fine. And there's just tons of them. As you can see, these are pretty much bare down below here, and I got foliage up here. We've been pulling off all the leaves up until pretty much the tomatoes that we're about to harvest, and maybe a little bit extra. And so we've been keeping about 13 leaves on the plant, so 13 sets of leaves up there on the plants, and then pulling off anything else and anything that might be diseased. There's been a little bit of disease coming in, but not really a whole lot. I'm thinking I'm gonna beat my record last year. Last year we had a good amount of tomatoes until about September, so I'm hoping really to make it till October this year. These things taste good. They sell really well. The co-op that we sell to at a grocery store, they started doing promotions about our product, and they're really enjoying it. The people at the farmers market are really enjoying it. It's just going so well. Last year I had problems with these drip spikes clogging up, so I installed this filter right after my pump. And this is just a 3/4 inch disc filter. There's a bunch of discs in there, and that traps all the particles, and so that's really helped a lot. Somebody recommended that I install an 1.5 or a 2-inch disc filter on this. That way I don't have to clean it that often. But since I put my lid on my reservoir, I haven't had really much problems with cleaning that out. We just harvested a bunch of cherry tomatoes for the market. That's why these trusses are pretty much bare. But we harvested 50 pounds of cherry tomatoes last week off of 100 plants, which is just insane. We wholesale them for $4 a pound, and we sell them at the farmers market for $3 for a pint. But look at this cluster right here. Isn't that beautiful? That's so cool. So we've been keeping up really good with our lean and lower method, which is basically we unspool that hook up there, we unspool some of the string that's on it, and we slide that over. I'm going to pan a little bit, and so the plants actually go over and then up. You see how long that is? That's probably 10 feet long. So we climb a ladder or a step stool and slide all those down. Been keeping up really good with this. I actually have somebody that comes and helps me, and it's been really helpful to be able to get all of the work done that I need to get done. As you can see, it's kind of like a little mess, and the guy that's helping me, he has a garden at home, but he doesn't have any greenhouse production experience. So he's taken really well. But look at this. So this vine right here starts here, and it goes down and over about 5 feet before going up another 5 feet. So that's about 10 feet. And it just looks like a mess down there, doesn't it? Look at this guy right here. Got a little growth coming out the top. It's like a tomato baby coming out of the tomato. Look at this. That's just insane. So I'm getting about 1.5 pounds, probably 1 to 1.5 pounds per plant of my large tomatoes. And like I said, about 50 pounds for my cherry tomatoes, which is cool. I love harvesting them. They have a lot less problems than the slicer tomatoes do behind me. They grow faster, they produce faster, they ripen faster. So There's and honestly, people buy them about equally amount of slicers as they do to the cherry tomatoes, but we actually get to sell them at the farmer's market. Like I said, $5 for a little pint. We fill up a pint, and we and people buy them for $5. So they sell out before our slicer tomatoes sell out. So that's huge. They produce a ton, and they're early, and they taste good. And we are growing. This year we're growing Sakura. So they're a little bit bigger than the cherry tomatoes that we've grown in the past, but they are a greenhouse variety, so they will stand up to the disease a lot better than anything else. And they still taste really good. A lot of greenhouse tomato varieties have a bad hype around them because when they first developed them, they wanted disease protection and stuff like that, and all it is crossbred. It's not like it's GMO or anything like that. But anyway, they wanted to develop disease resistance and shelf life, and the firm outside first, and then they worried about flavor. Well, I mean, that was forever ago. So now they've actually developed really good tasting greenhouse varieties that if you can tell your customers, hey, you know, it was grown in a greenhouse, but it's actually really, really good. You wouldn't be able to tell the difference between one of these and one of the varieties that you grow in your home garden. So we've actually sold a ton of those. In fact, the Sakura was the first cherry tomato that I actually grew, and I grew it outside, and we still sold out. Look at this giant cluster of beefsteak right here. So these are pretty good size, probably about the size of a softball. And there's 4 growing on it. And there's another cluster of, what's that? 6 large tomatoes down there. And I mean, the quality of them is pretty good. This is the blossom end. There's always a little something on it. This one may have a little bit more disfiguration than the normal blossom end. It's like there. So I've had this empty row here for a while, or actually it was empty, this one right here, because I wasn't quite sure how long these greenhouse tomatoes were gonna last. It looks like they're gonna last at least till the end of September. But anyway, just as kind of a little added protection so I didn't run out of tomatoes, I started planting these. And what I did was I pulled the suckers off of those plants and I just stuck them directly in this rock wool cube. And I got a mosquito attacking me. I planted them directly in this rock wool cube, and I stuck the drip spike right in the center of it. And I'm switching from a double row system to a single row system. This will save a lot of money. Well, it's a single row, but there's going to be 2 plants in each block. So these have only been here, I don't know, maybe a couple weeks. They were small suckers when I started. It's been really hot. So these ones are not taking so well, but what I need to do is trim the leaves back. See, it doesn't need this leaf right now. It needs to grow some roots. And I might do a full video on how I do this because this is really cool. So this is going to save a lot of money. I have another row right there that has no tomatoes. I just pulled the tomatoes in that, and I'm going to do the same thing. And if you live in a warm climate, or you can heat your greenhouse long enough and you don't have the long periods of the year that are below 10 hours, you can actually keep this going perpetually. You can pull out a plant the suckers, and just let it go. Or you can have suckers in blocks growing on the side, and once you pull that, they're ready to go in. Boom. But I just wanted to share this with you. I thought this was really cool. So 2 plants per block, and I need to hang another wire going down here. So 1 plant will go to that wire, 1 plant will go to that wire. Right now, these I did maybe 2 2 months ago, I just planted the sucker in the block, and now look, I've got tomatoes coming already. This one actually has 2 clusters, three clusters, and it's just flowered on its 4th. This is pretty cool. I learned about this on Hydroponics for Profit and on a Facebook page. So look that up. There's a lot you can learn about it. I ask all kinds of questions all the time there. But anyway, if I have time, I'm so busy right now, it's crazy, but having this guy come and help me for a couple days a week has really helped. But I'd like to do more videos. I really want to teach you guys everything you want to know about hydroponics and about this system. On the docket for next year, I'm going to set up a small greenhouse. I'm going to get my cherry tomatoes out of here. I'm going to get my cucumbers and my eggplants and peppers, and they'll have their own system, their own just a little high tunnel. And this thing is going to be filled with tomatoes. And I may do like one more small high tunnel for tomatoes, just to kind of, I'll grow these early. I'll rip them out in July, and then I'll plant that other, unless they're still doing really good. And then I'll plant like a smaller system. And then after that starts producing, then I'll go back and replant this. So just kind of some ideas. I also plan on doing an aquaponic system. I have a small 12 by 12 shed over there on the other side of this greenhouse, and I'm going to start growing some fish in it, and we'll see. I've read like 3 textbooks on aquaponics, and I'm really excited about it. So I haven't decided whether I'm going to do a DIY system or just buy a filter that's already ready and already going. But stay tuned for that, and I want to show you one more thing that I'm doing. So this is what I wanted to show you. This is my mum setup. This is my first year I'm doing garden mums. But the reason why I'm showing you is not only to share with you what I'm doing. This should provide some fall income, so it's very important to farmers. These are fall mums. They bloom in September. But also I wanted to show you the setup. So I'm planning on switching my tomato system, or at least my new systems, over to for binding crops and peppers and things like that, to something like this. So let me show it to you. So first of all, I have just a little cheap fertilizer injector, and I just add a little bit. These mums don't really require a whole lot, and so I just add maybe half a pound once every 3 days. And so you put the fertilizer in there, you fill it up with water, and then you connect these hoses through this little guy right here. And basically the water pressurizes that, and it pushes the fertilizer out, and you can see it going through the clear thing there. And I have these, I had this right here. This is garden hose connections, so I had to have a female garden hose connector, and that adapted to this 1/2 inch, I think it's polyethylene pipe. It's basically the sprinkler pipe. And then it went to this other coupler, and that's a 3/4 inch male pipe thread to a 3/4 inch female pipe thread to a T. And then I left my end pieces here. And then it goes to this other 3/4 inch female pipe thread, 3/4 inch male pipe thread. And then this is a 1/2 inch line. So this is just a coupler. This, you can actually unscrew this and take it off. I think it's called a collet. And then this pipe has little emitters every 18 inches. So all the way down. And that's how I water this system. I use the axe to drive in these pieces of rebar to keep this thing from moving. That's solid, that's not going anywhere. And on the other side, I pulled that pipe tight, and then I wrapped it around here, and then I went to a garden staple. Now this line that hose is pretty tight, and then I had to go and adjust these I don't have to really fool with it too much now, but when I first set it up, I had to go back and forth because I'd push this in and it would push on the pipe and it would knock the others out of the alignment. But these mums are about a week and a half old and they're taking off. They're doing pretty good. I'm pretty excited about this, nice and green. No signs of problems yet. These are 8-inch pots that are 5 inches deep, and I bought a potting mix that I can buy in bulk. We got about 400 plants here. I ran out of the 18-inch spacing, but I did have some 12-inch spacing drip pipe, so I have this here temporarily until I can get some more. So these pots here are a little closer than those ones. I have 18-inch spacing in between the row. And then I did put in some walkways, which I don't know if they're really necessary, but this row right here is a little wider than the rest of them. I could probably tighten this up and do, you know, maybe 600 plants in the same space, but this is our first year. I don't even know how we're going to be able to transport all these pots or where we're going to sell it. We're probably going to do some wholesaling to some restaurants that like to have pots outside, and then we're going to take them to the farmer's market and maybe try to find some other wholesalers that we can sell to. But I wanted to show you that since this system's working out so well, like I said, I think I'm going to convert a lot of my hydroponic production over to something like this. Oh, one more thing. These are 50-foot rows, so I have about 33 plants in each row. And I'm going to, I hope to be able to do a video. It was like 90 degrees when we set this up, so it wasn't the ideal time to do a video. Everybody was kind of a little grumpy maybe. But when I replace this line here that has the 12-inch spacing in between the emitters, I will show you how I put that in. That's super simple. I love this system, and it sets up in a lot, like probably a quarter of the time it took me to set up the drip spikes in my tomato production. But yeah, I'd like to do like a full in-depth video on how all this works if I can get the time. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed that update. And by the way, I really enjoy hearing people's stories that post down in the comments. I think it's so cool when I flip open the app and I see, you know, people messaging me from Germany, from the Netherlands, from Australia, from all over the world. And I absolutely love hearing you guys' stories, you know, in different stages of development, from, you know, dreaming about having a farm all the way to having a similar setup than mine. You know, I really hope we can kind of come together and share our experiences over farming and hydroponics. So, thanks for watching.